As advances in reproductive medicine continue to help more people build their families, there's a greater understanding on how age impacts fertility health, especially for women. Today, we're learning a little bit more about age-related infertility and how people can preserve their fertility for the future. Here to tell us more and joining me now is fertility specialist at Pacific Fertility Center right here in San Francisco, Dr. Isabelle Ryan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited.
Yes, this is such an interesting topic that a lot of women want to know about right now. So first question I have for you is, how does age impact female fertility?
Yes, that's a great question. And truthfully, a question that we are asked almost every single day as we help our patients really kind of think about things. Well, there are two things that are happening for us as women as we transition from our early, let's say late 20s into our mid 30s into our 40s. And these two things and the decline in both egg health and egg numbers is a very different biological process than what is happening for men. So women do face a different challenge, biological challenge, and therefore sort of presented with new or different decisions that they need to make if they're thinking about preserving their fertility. So in general, egg health and egg numbers are peak, and it's a flat line up to about age 33, 34. And then there's a slight decline. There's a more important decline around age 37, and then a very important decline around age 40. And then after that, egg health flattens out. So in general, when we talk about patients who want to ask us about, well, I have, let's say different career goals or things like that. How can I preserve my fertility during its peak window? Then we talk about fertility preservation options, which have to do with either freezing eggs or freezing embryos, depending on their social situation.
All right, so those are some of the ways that people can be proactive about their fertility health. What age do you think women should start thinking about this?
Yeah. Well, the standard recommendation, if one wants to freeze eggs or freeze embryos for that matter, is to think about it and do it by or prior to age 35. Because that's when you're capturing your healthiest eggs, and that's when your ovaries have a higher number of eggs for us to work with on a monthly basis. If I have a patient who is younger, and if there is an opportunity to do it prior to age 35, my personal preference and the counseling I give my patients is to do it by or up to age 33, because that's when you're capturing your healthiest group of eggs.
All right, great to know. And if someone thinks about this process, maybe they want to freeze their eggs, how does that work? What do they do?
Well, it takes about 1 month in terms of the evaluation process with us. So there's vaginal ultrasound where we take a look at the ovaries. We have the patient do a blood test for hormone that indicates to us how hormonally active the eggs are. And then the patient works with my staff for about a month to get organized. Once organized, we usually start the treatment portion with the start of a natural period. So we're dovetailing into the patient's natural biorhythm. And the patient is busy with us for about a 2-week window during which the patient is doing daily evening injections to grow the eggs that are there for that month. We do ultrasounds, usually about 4 or 5 ultrasounds in that 12-day window. And by ultrasound, we're making decisions about their medication dosing and when the eggs are ready. Once we decide the eggs are ready, then we take them out, and that's done under anesthesia. So the patient is asleep, so there's no discomfort during that process of us taking the eggs out, and then we freeze the eggs that afternoon. And that's the end of visits, really, to the fertility center. So it's a busy 2 weeks, but it's just a 2-week window where you have to be in town, not traveling, available to work with us. If you need to freeze more eggs, depending on your situation or your goals, then you have 1 rest month, and then we can roll into a second cycle where we do a new stimulation process.
Okay, wonderful. So if someone's watching today and they're thinking that this might work for me, this might be a good option, how can they get connected with you all, get more information?
Yeah, so they should call our main number, which is 415 834-3000, and they will go through an intake form and share some medical information that they will fill out through the online form. They will then have a conversation with our intake staff, schedule a video appointment, and then we'll chat by video. And then depending on how that patient feels, then they will schedule what's called an in-person appointment, where at that point I do an ultrasound, take a look at their ovaries, and we talk about doing the blood test, and then we take it from there in terms of additional appointments.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for all the information. This has been so informative and so helpful for people who are thinking about doing this.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to really share these exciting things that we do here at the center.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. To learn more, you can head to pacificfertilitycenter.com, and we'll also have a link on our website as well.